Hello, we are Team SafeCity, and this is our submission to the RICE 2022 Datathon. This is our team, and we're super excited to show you how far we've come. Before we get into the bulk of the presentation, let me introduce you to someone. Sophie is a 23-year-old and is an aspiring musician. She wants to move to New York City to advance her music career, but is unsure about where to live. In addition to her basic criteria of rent price and square footage, Sophie is also concerned about the safety of her home, given the rise of racial and sexual identity-related crimes. According to CNN, anti Asian hate crimes increased 361% in New York City in just 2021. I'm sure some of you may have heard of Michelle Go, the Asian American who was killed as a result of anti Asian hate in New York City. Her story was extremely heartbreaking to hear, and we wanted to do something about it to protect the lives of so many people against violence. With that, we decided to create a resource to predict the safest precincts where individuals could live depending on their demographics. In terms of the dataset we utilized came from New York City Open Data that measured all the hate crimes that occurred in those precincts.
There were 1,181 observations and 14 variables measured. We cleaned our data to remove NA counts and utilized pandas to filter and manipulate screen inputs. We omitted certain variables that weren't needed for our predictions, such as arrest ID and law code. Using ggplot and dplyr libraries, we processed and analyzed our dataset to get a collection of summary statistics. According to this chart, 41% of hate crimes are credited to anti-Jewish hate. The next two largest categories are anti-Asian and anti-gay, clocking in at 14 and 12%. While looking at these type of hate crimes, roughly 51% are due to religion, while 27% come from racial issues, and 14% come from sexual orientation discrimination. With all these statistics, we create our app, SafeCity.
Let's take a look at our app. Let's say that I was a white, Catholic, male, looking to live in New York. You can see that all this green highlighted area in the map are places with relatively low danger index scores. This signifies that those green areas are safe for this white Catholic male. However, let's take a look at Sophie again. Sophie is a Asian, Jewish, female. And as you can see, there's more red highlights in the area of the map. These areas have high danger index scores, and she should take precaution to avoid them in the future. The recommendation system will show the top 3 safest precincts and the top 3 dangerous precincts based on the person's selected attributes. As you can see above, these are the precincts recommendation we have for Sophie based on her criteria.
We utilized Python's Django web framework to build a backend and utilized JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap for the front end. In addition, we implemented the Google Maps API to map out the coordinates of different precincts and generate our heat map to visualize the density of crime in each region. We created a hate crime index using this formula that assigned a safety score for each precinct on a scale from 0 to 1. We then performed both linear regression and the support vector machine model using classification to predict ideal precincts based on the selected attributes. This served as a recommendation to users regarding where they should live. In the end, SafeCity strives to provide an easy way to determine safe locations in different cities. Ideally, users will have some assurance that the area they choose to live in will be safe for them. Regarding future implementation, we would want to include more demographic data such as income and health information to improve our prediction. Thank you so much for listening and stay safe.